you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Stephen.
Hello.
So 50 episodes. We made it to 50. Quite an achievement. I'm gonna completely just pat myself on the back. And all of us.
You're the only one that'll be patting yourself on the back.
I'm not been patting you. Like,
You just fucking bought your cake.
Pat all three of us on the back. Yeah, I think.
How many hands you got?
We've made it to 50, and we're aiming for
Still going.
We're gonna
Just
next milestone's 100, so keep going. But
next
if we're gonna
51.
make 100 a big deal, it's kind of going to be hard to top, considering we've just done an interview with Paul Hanlon.
no bad, eh?
No, Dave, no. Paul Hanlon.
I know, I was getting a wee bit excited. When he was speaking, I was like,
Paul
Hanlon.
Paul Hanlon.
Tap him, Gav. I'm like, Paul Hanlon speaking now.
Nah, we were totally cool.
It was
We're
nice just to see
professional the
Dave's
whole
face
time.
light up again. I think the last time that happened was when he first saw me.
You tell yourself that.
But yeah, so a very busy show we've got for you today. We've got a new partnership which we're going to announce. Come back to that in a second. Then we've got the Paul Hanlon interview. Then we'll get to announce our winner of the taxi board game giveaway. Then we'll preview the Dundee game. And finishing up, we're going to talk about, obviously, just breaking news as we're recording. Sky have won the TV rights from 2021. Dave, now
2020, Gav.
Dave, is it from 2020?
It's 2020.
It's even worse news. It's sooner than 2021.
I mentioned the Sky deal, and Dave's face went from delight at the thought of Paul Hanlon to sad of the thought of more
Andy
Walker. So yeah, we'll come back to that to finish off. But
safe to say Andy Walker will not be on this podcast.
he did play for Hibs.
I know, but we've kind of just shot ourselves in the foot.
We got him on loan from Celtic for what?
To be fair though, we've just found out.
A handful of games.
We just found out he photo of Pires and Vieira playing for Hibs, so.
And Ian Money's testimonial, yeah. So they're on next week.
Still waiting for the John McGinn interview though.
Well, maybe we can do that for 100. We'll try and.
Paul Hanlon.
Didn't promise anything.
So let's kick off with a really exciting announcement. We've known about this for a few weeks, but we were waiting to kind of pull the trigger on it because of the international break kind of got in the way and stuff. So FansBet are a new online bookmaker who promised to share 50% of their net profits from tagged accounts for causes which matter most of all to the fans, and it's a business about fans and run by match-going supporters. And we're delighted at Hibs Talk to announce that we'll be partnering with them. We've met with the guys involved. Basically, if betting's part of your match day experience, whether it's been on the Hibs games or any other football or racing or any other sport for that matter, download the FansBet app and sign in, and then if you select Hibs as your club and then Hibs Talk Podcast, you'll be making a contribution towards the podcast, so we can then in return support Hibs causes. We don't get to see the money. We can't go buying things on our gardens or anything like that. Nothing, or buying a holiday. It's nothing like that. We have to disclose to you guys what we're spending the money on. So, for example, in the past, the FansBet have teamed up with people for away day travels, for supporters trusts, for fanzines. And they also played a big part in the safe standing installation in England, the first one in England at Shrewsbury Town. So I don't want to, get people getting overexcited thinking that we're going to put in safe standing at Easter Road. Maybe that's a possibility, but that would take a lot of working with the club, and that's obviously a lot of external factors involved with that. But there's a lot of things that this could allow us to do. In no way do we ever see this money. We can't spend this money on a holiday, or I can't get my garden, which is a mess, done up or anything like that. It's about giving back to the fans. So, for example, say we worked with Hibs Community, for example, and found out about, a bunch of families that maybe can't afford to go to the games, and we used £500 to buy a load of tickets and give them out for free. Or donated £500 to since 1875's next display in the famous Five or something.
Yeah, just something like that. Just anything to give back to supporters, because that's what sold me on FansBet, is the fact that It's run by fans, and like it's gonna, if you like, I've already lost a tenner, right? But in my head, I'm like, that's only a fiver, because we'll see it back, and then it can be part of like a giveaway. Like we can like give away like football tops, just anything at all that we can help fund, or like run a bus to an away game and just be like, right, we're putting on 2 buses for here, completely free. Like when you're seating this bus or something, just anything at all, just give back.
If our mate Paul Hanlon's still injured, see if he wants to go in the bus as a treat to fans.
Aye, wee things like that.
If you're looking at a bigger picture, Dave wants to charter a plane in the next European game. But
I did say that.
You did say that.
That's if loads of Hibs fans sign up. So everybody that's listening signs up and loses
Lots of money.
loads of money, we'll get a plane.
I think the thing that sold
We
me
won't
on
buy
it,
a plane, we'll just charter
Yeah.
a plane.
the thing that sold me on it was the fact that it's, I mean, you never see a poor bookie, but this all, what we lose goes back into the club rather than into
Yeah.
just into thin
Leave
air.
it at the club, just into fans, which is
Well,
never
that's it.
happens.
Aye, you're right. Skip that. Cut out that the club bit. It's, we can provide to fans what the club can't.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing. The whole purpose of it.
It's about, we could work, and we're open to ideas, by the way. So anybody with any ideas, like, oh, by the way, if you guys are potentially going to come into money, then maybe it'd be a good idea to do this and stuff. And to say, and it'll probably take a while for this to kind of. We need people to sign up. It's going to be a
Slow process.
slow process to begin with until people sign up, and then we'll start seeing the money. So it could take 3 to 6 months. I don't want people in a few months' time being like, oh, what's happened with this fans bet? You haven't done anything. We need to be seeing the profits in order to be able to get the money back. So it's important that you sign up. Tell your friends to sign up, and we'll, like I say, we don't see any personal benefit of other than an opportunity to give back to the supporters.
One of the important
and the
things.
listeners.
One of the important things is we have no point in hiding it. We've had other opportunities for partnerships for the podcast, but they didn't benefit the podcast in a great deal or benefit the listeners, or it just wasn't something that we're interested. It's a hobby, so we want to try and grow our hobby. So if being able to improve the podcast by giving stuff back interests us more than making like 50 quid, or like we've had offers off like different bookies and things like that, for example, like free bets or a certain amount a month, and it's just not what we're in it for.
No.
You know what I mean? We just want to give back, and this seemed like the right opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know a lot of you will be like, right, okay, I'll sign up, get over it, start talking about Paul Hanlon. So we'll do that. We'll wrap it up there. We'll keep on plugging this over there, probably every podcast. So, but maybe not as long as this one. But yeah, we'll mention it every week, and we'll be doing a lot of plugging about online. Oh, also, free. One of the reasons people should sign up, enhanced bets. So enhanced bets is another reason, just quickly, why people should sign up. It's going to it'll probably be either tomorrow or Wednesday that myself and David can organise it. The guy from FansBet, and it'll probably be a player and a result, a first goal scorer and a result, and it'll be rather than 6-1, it's now 10-1 or something like that. I'm just sort of spitfiring, but yeah, it'll be enhanced odds if you're signed up via Hibs Talk. So it's a lot of benefits to it. So you guys benefit from it as well, and I mean you two know a lot more about bookies as well. It's competitive prices.
How do I ken a lot about bookies?
Yeah, very competitive prices as well. So okay, we'll wrap it up there about that, and let's hear from Paul Hanlon. Paul Hanlon, how you doing, Paul?
Yeah, all good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good. So, thank you again for taking the time to come on and have a chat with us. It was we had Liam Fontaine on. What was that? A couple of months ago now. So I really appreciate you coming on as well.
Yeah, no bother at all. No bother.
So we've kind of gathered questions from around about a few places. So yeah, so I mean, let's starting off with yourself growing up as a Hibs fan. Who was sort of your heroes growing up?
I think the main one growing up was probably Frank Sawsey. I think most fans at that time he's kind of the main man. Him and Russell Latipi. And no, I just used to love watching him strolling out for the back and hitting long range shots and taking free kicks and no, it was just I think that was quite an exciting time to watch Hibs as well. We had a lot of good players, but he was definitely one that stood out for me.
So how does that feel to wear the number 4 then? Because like I know the number 4 for me is my favourite number because of Frank Sawsey. Like I date and everything. 4 on roulette, lottery, anything at all that's got a 4 in it is mine. And you're wearing it in the back of a Hibs tops. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's great. It was. I think when you break through, you've not really got much choice of your number. I was given 33 for my debut, and then you've got to kind of work hard to try and get down to these lower numbers. But no, it was always a number I had my eye on. Partly because I just like it as a number, and guys like Sawsey and Pat Stanton, my dad talks about him a lot, saying he was a proper number 4. So no, it's a good number, and I said there's a good history behind it as well at Hibs with good players.
And I mean, obviously, you had a recent interview with Evening News, and you were saying about when you were playing with Hutchie Vale and that you were playing the sort of midfield role. And in recent games, we've seen you making the bursting runs forward yourself and having a wee shot. So, I mean, does sort of that sort of affiliation with Frank Sawsey and him being your hero growing up, does that sort of have any impact on the way that you play now?
Yeah, I think so. I've always been kind of attack minded. As you said, I was kind of attacking sort of midfielder at Hutchie Vale, and then it was basically one of my first games for Hibs. The coach at the time, Alistair Stevenson, said, I think you'd be a good centre half. And on the way home in the car with my dad, I'm saying, like, get me out of here. I didn't want to play centre half. Like, no way and stuff like that. So I was a bit concerned at the time, but nah, it's worked out well in the end. They obviously saw something in me to make me play in that position, and I like nowadays I've kind of, especially we play as a 3 at the back at times. I've got a license to step in and kind of help the midfield out, and I overlap at times, get down the pitch and try and create chances, and it's just probably a credit to the manager we've got just now, really, that he's got that confidence in us and he wants us to kind of express ourselves, and it's something that I try and do as much as I can, as I said, especially when we play in a 3 at the back where you've kind of got that extra bit of cover.
Lennon, I'm sure, I don't know if it was a pre-season friendly, our first game of the season last season, did you know play actually in midfield for one game? Were you kind of hoping that could maybe come of something, or were you quite happy to step back into the back?
There was a few times, I think, I don't know if I've actually started under the gaffer at midfield, but he definitely put me there. I remember 110 minutes into the Bromby game, he decided that I should go into midfield, which I didn't think was a great idea. No, that was he put me there a few times, but he's not done it recently. So obviously never done well enough at the time I had in midfield. But no, I'm happy enough playing at the back. My midfield days were over after 15-year-old, I think.
We kicked off speaking about some of your heroes, and you mentioned Sawsey and stuff. Obviously, big icons of the club are players like John Collins, Mixu, and John Hughes. How was it to play under all 3 of those?
Yeah, good. Also starting with Mixu, he was the one that gave me my debut. So no, I'll be forever grateful to him for that. He took a big risk, and it was his first game as well at the club, and I think David Murphy was injured, and Louis had got, I think it was a hamstring injury as well, which doesn't happen very often. So I got a wee stroke of luck there, and he's came in and spoke to the Alistair Stevenson, who was the 19s manager at the time, and just said basically did I think I could handle playing the first team at obviously only 17. So thankfully he took that risk with me, and then it's just obviously made my debut, and it's that gives you the platform to try and build on and staying around the first team squad. And John Collins as well. He was just before that. He had been in the first team squad a few times, but without actually making it onto the bench. So I was kind of travelling and things like that, and just seeing his methods were incredible. You could tell he was just the ultimate professional, and even well into his coaching managerial career, he was still having like the same habits that he had as a player. So no, definitely one for all young players to kind of look up to and see how to live your life properly. And then John Hughes as well. He came in and thought we played a great kind of brand of football under him. His philosophy was great. His training on the training ground, everything was brilliant. And I mean, the passion he had for Hibs, I think everyone knows that. You've seen it over the years, how much he loved the club and how much he wanted to do well. So no, it was great playing under all three of them.
So, no, I want to kind of try and skip over this as quick as possible. It's not the nicest thing to talk about next. I mean, I think it's fair to say that, you know, any player to suffer a relegation is tough. But how was it for you being a Hibs fan and suffering relegation with Hibs?
Yeah, it was tough. It was not just for me, but it's tough for the whole squad. It's tough for all the staff, backroom staff, everyone, because it's a worrying time for the club. No, it was just nightmare after nightmare. Really, every week it was just getting harder, and I think we've just got to get this one win from somewhere, and it just becomes more difficult the more you're in the rut. Just nothing. We're getting no luck. We weren't creating our own luck. We were just confidence is low, and before you know it, we were in the playoff positions, and we're playing a Hamilton team that's full of confidence. They've had a good season, and we're on our way down, and it's just it was obviously I got injured in, I think maybe end of February, maybe March time. So it was just sitting in the stand most times, feeling kind of desperate to help out the boys and desperate to be on the pitch, and just kind of hoping and praying that we're going to get that one win we really needed, and it just never came about, and we just kind of got ourselves in a rut and couldn't get out of it in time, to be honest.
I know, and I think that's a lot of frustration because, I mean, we're really struggling at the back towards the end of the season. I think, you know, McPake was kind of struggling with injury as well and stuff,
Yeah.
And then I don't think he could get back in the team even once he was back, and then obviously you were injured, and yeah, it was just really frustrating. You know, we were leaking goals and just we couldn't seem to change it due to external factors, which was just really frustrating. So, but anyway, we'll skip past that negative stuff and move on. Stubbs comes in. How much did things sort of change from there? And obviously, a lot of new players comes in, like Fonts, who we've mentioned, and how much of a change in that the dressing room was there, considering the amount of players? There was a big turnover in players.
Yeah, when he came in, I mean, I remember shaking his hand on the first day, and I think there was maybe. I think we only had maybe seven proper first team players. Couldn't even get a game of five-a-sides or none to start off pre-season. It was just a case of getting the fitness work done, and he had a lot of work to do, obviously, in terms of recruitment. And I think the recruitment that he managed to do over that period of time was just incredible. A lot of young, hungry, mostly Scottish boys who were just desperate to do well, and that's exactly what we needed at the time. Managing to get obviously like McGinn, Fraser Fivey, Dylan McGeoch, and then bringing the likes of Fonts in as well, who was a like unbelievable professional day to day for these young guys to watch him was great. So no, he brought in a great mix, and at the same time managed to play a good style of football that the Hibs fans obviously want to see. So I think he's got to take massive credit for basically picking the whole club up, and obviously along with Leanne and George Craig as well. They've obviously done a massive job, but in terms of the football side, and I can imagine managing to attract players to Hibs when obviously the club was kind of on its knees and needing revitalised, and he managed to do that. Obviously, when he's sitting down with these players, he managed to convince them that Hibs was the best place for them, and it was just he just created a real good squad, and I'd probably say that squad that he created, this maybe the squad that went on to win the cup. That I'd say that's probably the best kind of team spirit and the best bond that I've ever been involved in terms of squad. So he managed to build that, and I think that would be part of the success that we had was because of that team spirit.
So just before we're going to talk about the Scottish Cup and that day in May,
Yeah.
I just want to ask, because you obviously mentioned Fonts and so did Gav. Was he good at singing and training? Was he in the changing room singing? Obviously, that's what the roadies went down.
that was a very hidden talent, that one. He kind of we all knew he liked music and played a bit of guitar, and he liked to that was his way of kind of chilling out when he got home after games or after training. He would just go into kind of his spare room or whatever and get on the guitar and sing away and whatever. That was what he liked to do in his spare time. But no, we're all quite surprised when he decided to kind of write songs and go down that route. But no, I think I was one of the first ones that got to hear his life lesson song, and it was really catchy for the start. To be honest, I could kind of hear it in my head for the rest of the day, so it's normally a good sign. But it was to be honest, when he first came and when he kind of most of the time at Hibs, he kind of kept that as a bit of hidden talent, to be honest.
Okay, so we mentioned the Scottish Cup then, so let's no put it aside anymore, and let's talk about that glorious day in May.
Yeah.
So Pete on the .net has asked, describe your feeling after that goal, David Gray's goal.
Oh, I don't think anyone could put it into words, really. Obviously I was off injured at the time, and I just came off injured after the second goal, so got a big ice pack on my thigh, and I'm probably feeling a bit sorry for myself. But
how did it feel having to go off, knowing it was 2-2 and the game was still there to be won?
I was obviously devastating, but I knew I had done it earlier in that season before, at Dumbarton away, and so I just knew it was the exact same thing again, and I just had to come off. My knee was swelling up as well, and we just went as soon. I'd been hobbling about just before the goal, so I managed to go up for the corner for Stokes' goal, and I was thinking, I'm struggling here, and as soon as the second goal went in, everyone went to celebrate, and I took a sharp right up to the dugout, and obviously told the manager I need to come off. But no, it's just obviously then I'm sitting on the bench, and Dave's managed to put in the winner, and it's just incredible. My mum and dad are just maybe a few rows behind the dugout, so I can see them. They're all jumping about, and obviously the whole bench and staff are all cuddling each other, and then as soon as that dies down, the nerves kick in, and you're just thinking how long's to go. So no, I think it'll take a bit of beating, to be honest, in terms of playing football. I don't know how that feeling, especially that feeling, and obviously the final whistle, it'll take some beating, I think.
And what was your first thoughts at the final whistle? That's a question from Mixu Dave on Twitter.
That's the moment when injury disappears and you're running down the stairs onto the pitch.
So was I, funnily enough.
So was everyone else. No, I managed to kind of get myself down the stairs. Like ice pack gets ripped off the thigh, and then just in the middle of the pitch. First person I seen was McGinn. He's got the match ball, and he's grabbed it, volleyed it about 50 feet in the air, and then just cuddling each other, and before you know it, you're covered in supporters as well. It was just incredible feeling. There's guys crying, there's just guys telling you they love you, and just unbelievable.
And as a Hibs fan, with a lot of you mentioned your dad being a Hibby, and with families Hibs, all Hibbies and stuff. How does that feel? You can understand what you've kind of done for the club and for not just the fans, but your family as well. How did you begin to process all those emotions?
It was a strange one, to be honest. I always kind of I just when I always spoke to my dad about it, but obviously we'd been beat against Hearts in the cup final, we'd been beat against Celtic in the cup final, and I don't know, there was something I always felt like I'd get another chance to win it, or I would win it. I just had that feeling, and I think because over the course of my career, we've been to a few cup finals, we've been to plenty of semi-finals, so it kind of feels like you're going to get there again, and I always had that confidence that I'd definitely be involved in a final again, and I kind of had a feeling we'd win it, or I'd be part of a squad that won it, and no, just for the whole family, it's it's the same for every Hibs supporting family, really. It's just the kind of heart that had been there for a number of years, generations. My dad's dad, he'd never seen it happen, and it's just to be actually a part of it, it's just obviously an incredible feeling, and probably something that won't properly sink in till maybe you retire.
So, I mean, obviously you mentioned there about obviously beating with Hearts in 2012, beaten by Celtic in 2013, having the feeling that you were actually going to win it. I mean, being part of that semi-final and going on to the final, you were the one that kept us in the Scottish Cup the year that you won it with your goal at Tiny. I mean, does that go down as one of your best goals?
Definitely. Maybe not the best looking goal, but definitely the most important, and definitely my favourite goal. I just kind of forget the kind of reaction afterwards. It was like the whole stand was going to come down. It was bouncing that much, and but I think you look back at that game as well. To be 2-0 down in that game was just unbelievable. I think we dominated the first half, and they hit us twice with kind of two sucker punches, and before we know it, we're 2-0 down at half time. But no, Alan Stubbs was great at that at half time. He basically told it how it was. Wasn't ranting or raving. He just told us that, like, just go and basically get what you deserve, and kind of don't panic, be patient, and the chances will come again. And no, thankfully it came, and thankfully it kind of came to me in the kind of last minute of the game, and I managed to put it in the net. So I knew it was a kind of a big goal, and it was kind of a big goal in my career as well. It was our first goal in an Edinburgh derby. So, but it's not until obviously you go on and win the cup then you realise just how big it really was.
So have you heard your song that's been made up off the back of that goal? How good is it?
I had a few mates kind of sending me the lyrics to it in the build up to the last derby, and but I never knew the tune of it. But it wasn't until I heard it at the game, and a few boys I know sent me videos for the Murrayfield as well, with all the fans singing it. So it's quite a catchy one.
We were at the Murrayfield, and there was Craig, who used to do the Monday Night Football podcast. He came up and he was like,
Hipstock part-timer.
Have you heard Hanlon? You heard Hanlon's new song? And I was like, no, I haven't heard it. And he showed me the lyrics, and then he was like, I hope it kicks off. And then we're in the tent, and then it starts going, and there's beer getting chucked about the place, and you should have seen his face light up. It was the happiest I've ever seen him, and he was like, this is going to go places. And then it did. That's
videos
it was good.
Yeah. So, moving on to the Scottish Cup, that summer, it's fair to say there was a bit of speculation in terms of yourself, and if I'm right in saying you were linked with, I don't know if there's any truth in it, but I'm sure the papers had you down as being linked with Aberdeen and MLS. How close were you to leaving Hibs, after winning the Scottish Cup, maybe sort of feeling that you'd and achieved what you could, or and what was the deciding factor that made you want to stay?
I don't think I ever came really close to leaving. There was a few discussions with my agent at the time, but nothing really came close at all. I knew it was always kind of it was going to have to be something special to make me leave. And probably the deciding factor was, especially any like Scottish teams or even down in England, like I would have hated to been kind of playing somewhere, wherever it be, say it was in England somewhere or whatever, and Hibs get promoted, and I wasn't part of it. I wanted to be part of that, and I think that was the main factor. I signed my new contract when we never had a manager at the time. Alan Stubbs had left, and Neil Lennon hadn't been appointed yet, so I'd had my mind made up kind of the middle of the summer. I got married that summer as well, so kind of had to get all that out of the way, and then I just get signed really.
Getting married in a new deal. It was good summer for you, and
Yeah,
obviously
the
winning the
Scottish
Scottish Cup.
Cup.
It was a good few months.
It's not too bad.
So you mentioned that there was no manager that when you signed the deal, but there was a few months later. How's Lennon been since he's came in? I mean, he's obviously got us promoted, and he's fair to say the fans love him now. What's Lennon been like since he's came in?
Yeah, for me personally, he's been great. I think he's really kind of brought my game on again, and he's shown a lot of confidence in me when I even had like a couple of injuries injured just now. So when I've had a couple of injuries, he's always put me back in, and no, he's kind of played me when I've been available. So it's always good for a player to know you're trusted, and you've got a manager that kind of gives you confidence like that. In terms of styles, I think I would probably say maybe the opposite end of the scale for Alan Stubbs. He was probably a bit calmer and things like that when he was doing his team talks. But I think you've obviously seen plenty of the managers' interviews. He doesn't hold back when he's talking, and he gets his point across. And I think it's worked great for me personally. I like being spoken to like that. I'd rather there was kind of no grey areas, and with the players he's brought in and things like that, everyone's kind of on the same page. So it's going well. Obviously the season last year was great. We kind of probably overachieved being the team that had just been promoted. So it's just a case of try to pick up again on this year and try and maybe go even better.
So I mean, obviously you mentioned there that like when you're fit, you're pretty much one of the first names on the team sheet. Obviously you've been suffering from an injury recently.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any sort of timescale on when you're due back, or?
It's been a complicated one, to be honest. It started as just a kind of simple dead leg against Aberdeen. I thought just kind of collided with the goalkeeper and came off the pitch thinking it was just a kind of normal dead leg, but it got a lot of swelling in it, and like over the next kind of week or so, it was really swollen, and it kind of, as it kind of like the swelling kind of got like really sort of hard, and I was struggling to shift it, to be honest. I was still really lacking like range of motion in my thigh, and got it scanned. It turned out that kind of had like a calcified area in the thigh, so it was basically bone was growing on the muscle, which is obviously it's quite serious. You need to stop playing and take tablets and things like that. So I've had a 4-week course of tablets to take to kind of try and dissolve and kind of stop the growth of this kind of. It's obviously not fully grown bone. It's kind of calcium deposits in the muscle, but also if it's left for long enough and not treated, then it can also form bone. So I felt like kind of had to be careful with it, and try to come back a few weeks ago and train, and it just never felt right. So hopefully my plans to definitely train this week, and maybe see what it's like for Saturday.
Well, it'd be great to have you back, but at the same time, we want you to be back 100% and not to niggle it again. So it sounds like you are taking a sensible approach about it.
Yeah, it's been frustrating, but hopefully that's it. Over the worst of it now.
And somebody that's one of the people that's been stepping in for you has been Ryan Porteous. What's your thoughts on the talent of him, and how far can he kind of go, do you think?
No, I think he's done great, to be honest. Since the day he kind of got introduced to the first team squad, he's been fearless. Into training, he just treats it like he's playing with boys his own age. He's into tackles, headers, and no, he's confident on the ball as well. So even when I look back at myself at kind of 18, 19, he's miles ahead of where I was, and no, I think he's got a great future in the game, no doubt about that. He's never let the team down, and he's definitely kind of solid. He's got a kind of solid place now in the first team squad. So no, it's great. It's great to see young boys coming through and making a name for themselves, and obviously not showing any fear when it comes to playing at first team level.
Also, a lot of people are wanting to know, just kind of quickly, just do you know when Davy Gray will be back as well? Just try to get wee inside info for you.
No, I don't think he's going to be far away either. He's had a bit of we've both been a bit grumpy and that around the gym at times, desperate to be on the pitch. But he's had a bit of an ankle problem. But he'll if he's not in the squad for the weekend, it'll definitely be the week after, I'm sure, because he's not far away at all.
So moving on now to your international career. I mean, I know you were capped a lot at under 21 level. I think it was what? Yeah, you're I think your third highest or something behind Christian and Daly,
Yeah.
and who was the other one? Stephen
Presley.
So represented a lot. Has it been frustrating not being able to make that transition into the full setup?
I don't know really. I loved playing for the 19s and 21s. Loved going away and kind of getting the experience of playing against all these different countries and stuff. But it's a big jump at the time when you're playing 21s. It seems a massive jump to the full squad. So at the time it wasn't something I kind of worried about too much, and probably around that time as well, we were, as a club at Hibs, we were kind of struggling a bit. We weren't having the best of seasons, so it was kind of the last thing that was on my mind. But no, when I managed to get a call up when Malky Mackay had the caretaker job for the friendly against Holland, I got a call up for that, and kind of gives you a taste for it, training with these boys, and just feeling like you can hold your own at that level. It kind of gives you a taste for it, and kind of makes you think more about it in terms of being involved in squads. And it's obviously a bit frustrating when you're not involved, but
It must have been quite frustrating being injured when there was 9-10 call-offs in the last one. You probably would have been somebody primed to get a call-up.
It's frustrating, but it's not something I worry about too much. If it's going to happen, it'll happen. But end of the day, I need to play well for Hibs. I need to get back on the pitch for Hibs and playing well, and see what happens for there, to be honest.
And obviously Martin Boyle's international wise has been made his debut for Australia. Forza Fred on .net was asking, do you have an Australian granny?
I've looked into it, but nah, there's nothing to report.
Okay, just to finish up then, before we talk about your testimonial, we'll do some quick fire questions which we'll kind of got. Somebody was asking, who's the best player you've played with?
With John McGinn.
Who's the best forward you've played against in Scotland?
Robbie Keane.
Right enough, he was at Celtic, because I was glad that Paul came put in Scotland bit, because I did want to ask you, how was that game playing against, I mean obviously you were it was in your first or second season playing against Barcelona. How was it playing against likes of Messi and that?
It was good. I think Messi got his key taken off at half time, so I must have done my job in that one. To be honest, he was off at half time, so I think it was 4-0 to them at the time. But it was good to look back on now. But at the time, they were playing a different sport for us, I think.
Aye.
I think it was maybe their second or third goal. They must have had about 18 passes in our box before they scored. It was just ridiculous. But no, it was a great experience. Some incredible players on the pitch that day. There was probably another full team just watching that day. The boys that had all played in the Euros and stuff, like Puyol and boys like that had played a lot in the Euros. They didn't play, so it was maybe just as well they didn't have played.
Next one, EH54 on .net's asking, who's the best defender you've played alongside for Hibs?
It's a tough one.
Remember, we've already had Fontaine on this.
I'll go my mate Louis Stevenson. He's always got my back down that left hand side. So when I need bailed out, he's normally the one that does it. So I'll go with him.
And the final question is from Safe Patton on .net asking, what teammate / manager departure was the most difficult to deal with on the pitch and in the dressing room?
I'd maybe say Alan Stubbs, purely because just of the high that we had for winning the cup, and then for him to leave just after that was probably a bit of shock to all the boys. And as I said, we had a really close group, not just the whole squad, the players, the management, like Alan Stubbs and John Doolan and Big Taff as well. We were all quite close and a really close group. So that was probably the the biggest shock and maybe the hardest to deal with at the time. But as soon as the new manager came in, then it was kind of all go again.
So you've got your testimonial, obviously coming up. You had the game against Blackburn, so you've got the darts game. But how was the testimonial playing against Blackburn? And is there any reason you chose Blackburn?
No, it was kind of. It's hard with arranging these games, especially in pre-season, because we had obviously Europe coming up as well. So, and then we're having a game so early in July. That's really early for English teams to be playing. So, when they managed to get in the testimonial committee, they dealt with everything. So, when they got in touch with Blackburn and Tony Mowbray, it was great for them to come up for the game. In terms of expenses and all that, there was nothing much, so they done us a big favour that way, and it was just good to. And when I came in, 16-year-old from school, Tony Mowbray was the manager at Hibs, so it was good to see him again, and Mark Venus, and it's obviously an honour. And starting out at Hibs, it's probably the last thing you ever think about getting a testimonial, especially kind of in this day and age where it doesn't happen too often. So no, it's something that I'm really proud of, and not just for me, to have obviously my whole family at the game, sitting in the director's box, and it's something that I'm really proud of, and a day that I could really treasure. And obviously, my son was born in February as well, and managed to take him on the pitch with me, so it was a good day all round. Well, not all round. The result wasn't great.
And following on from that, you've got the Darts Day on the 9th of December. So whereabout is it, and where can people get their tickets?
The tickets are available. I think the table pack. I'm not sure if there's any table packages left, but the kind of regular admission tickets are available on the Corn Exchange website. So I think there's a few of them left. But it's just going to be a kind of Darts Day. I think Darts is kind of on Sky Sports quite a lot now. You see it, and it's it kind of look quite lively affairs. So thought it'd be a good idea to kind of copy that and kind of have a Hibs themed one. Kind of more relaxed. There's obviously the game, which was quite serious because that was the build up to our European games, and the dinner hopefully will be kind of into next year when we can get a date sorted. So that's kind of more formal. So I wanted more a kind of light-hearted, kind of just kind of casual, relaxed sort of day that people can enjoy. So we thought the darts would be a good idea and a good laugh. We've got a few of the boys up playing and kind of make a wee kind of competition thing, and then obviously Gary Anderson's agreed to come along with Peter Manley and Devin Peterson as well. So there's three good darts players there as well to kind of up the standard. Obviously, we'll not be the best.
And they'll be joined by, it's got it here down as Neil the Aeroplane Lennon, which I think is a brilliant name, and various past and present players. Any hints at any of the past players, or is that sort of more of a surprise on the day?
I think it's going to be. I've not actually spoke to the committee about who's confirmed yet, but obviously there's a few of the boys to the first team squad that have got their names put in, and they've got their nicknames, their darts nicknames sorted. So
brilliant.
It should be a good laugh. I think the gaffer seemed right up for it as well when I asked him. So hopefully I'll do his aeroplane celebration up for his walk on.
So do you play quite a bit of darts at the training centre and stuff?
There's a dartboard there, but it's not used very often. That's the thing. Everyone's asked me, "Oh, so do you play darts?" I'm like, "Nah, I just like to look at it." Well, it looks like a good day.
I have to say, I went to the Premier League darts. I've been a few times through in Glasgow, and it's an absolutely brilliant night. So anybody thinking about it, definitely get along.
That's the thought behind it. Just a kind of relaxed, kind of feel good day. Not too formal. Just turn up and have a good day. So, hopefully it goes well.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much again for taking the time to come on and speak to us, Paul. Really appreciate it.
No problem
it's
at all.
It's our 50th episode, so we wanted to do something a wee bit special. So, so it's been great getting you on. So I really appreciate that.
Not at all.
Okay.
Right, cheers, mate.
Thanks very much.
All right,
Thanks again,
cheers.
Paul.
Cheers, lads. See you later.
Go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give up, cause that's your birthday. You can find me in the club.
So we've done a competition with Taxi. You guys weren't very pleased about getting your faces out there in the video for those that have seen it, but Stevie Mallon's lookalike, and
I don't look like Stevie Mallon.
you do.
No,
You're like a cross between Stevie Mallon and Harry Kane.
I wouldn't like to see that. But
Oh, just look in the mirror.
Everybody, everybody can see it on video now.
If you've not seen it yet, check it out. Harry Kane meets Stevie Mallon.
Stevie Mallon's better looking than me. I'm man enough to admit it.
Aye, but then when you cross him with Harry Kane, then you get you.
So we were doing a giveaway with Taxi board game. They have released the Hibs edition, which for everyone else that hasn't won, it's in the Hibs store, and I think it's actually in WH Smith and that as well. In the Hibs, it's the recommended retail price is $32.95. However, the person who won't need to be worrying about that, after answering the question of which former player co-presented Top of the Pops in 1970, the winner of our competition is Frank Crawford.
Oh, and Frank.
Thanks, Stephen. That's going to be a pain to edit. Yes, the answer was Peter Marinello. Not Petrie Mallon. Peter Marinello was the answer, and it was chosen at random, and Frank is our winner. So, Frank, we will get in touch with you about that, and then we'll give your details to Taxi, who will then get in touch with you to get your address and stuff and send you out a free copy of that. So thank you to Taxi for doing the giveaway with us, and I think there's quite a few opportunities to win it elsewhere, so if you do want to try and get a free game, I think other places are doing free copy giveaways, so keep an eye out for that. But if not, Hibs store, $32.95, great gift for Christmas. So I'm looking forward to playing with my dad, because my dad's a taxi driver and Hibs fan.
So that's brilliant.
Aye.
Couldn't have been a better game for him.
I know. Right, okay, so moving on. We back to business after this international break. I mean, there's still Scotland to play tomorrow night, but we're concentrating on the important stuff. Dundee at home on Saturday.
It should be an easy 3 points. Should be.
Aye.
Hopefully a chance to get back on track after the last disappointing few games, because we do need to improve, but this is a huge opportunity to improve, because they're obviously not performing well at all. So
I mean, they sacked Neil McCann thinking that they could have a bounce and a turnaround, and since they've sacked him, they've went lost, draw. Is it 5 games that or is it 4 games that he's had?
no, he said 4 or 5, but he's not won a game.
No,
So
I don't think they've even scored a goal since he came in. Maybe they have. That's probably just a really random stat. Yeah, they have. They've scored 1 against Dundee. They are Dundee against St Mirren. They've probably scored an own goal in there somewhere. I mean, an international break, I don't think they've got as many players going away on an international break. That might be, they might be a slightly more dangerous prospect, considering they might have had, 2 weeks to work with the new manager. So we might have to be wary of that. But Hibs really should be getting back on point, getting back on track, getting 3 points, and kicking on to the next game.
I didn't be complacent, but go out and play with a bit of anger. Like, go out and be like Ken, what? Everyone's kind of writing us off on that now, saying we're going through a blip, and then just take it out in Dundee. That's what we need to do. Just an angry performance that's determined, and
Aye. What Dave said.
Nothing to add, Stephen.
Not going to say anything else. No.
So looking at the next few games, we've obviously got a big run in coming in. But in terms of is it 6 games in 13 days or something? I don't know. 5
8 games in December.
But there was there's
Saturday, Wednesday.
But in terms of the next few weeks, we've got Dundee, then we've got Kilmarnock away, then we've got St Mirren at home, and then Hamilton away. How many points is a minimum from that?
For me, absolute minimum that I'd be happy with, I would take 10.
But you want 12?
Yeah, I want the full 12.
Stephen? Minimum?
12. No. I think realistically I'd say 10 as well.
Kilmarnock away is going to be a tough game. They showed that they're a good team when we played them at Easter Road. They've obviously got some really good results since that game. But so I mean, a point.
Were they not the first team to beat Hearts at Tiny this season, or was that Motherwell? If it was Motherwell, I'll just scrap this. But
no, I think Motherwell's got a draw. I'm sure that, unless it was in the cup, I don't know, but I'm sure that Kilmarnock were the first team to beat Hearts since they've moved into their new stadium. Since the new stand's been done. So who cares about details? It's only them. So lineup wise, obviously Canberra, McLaren. Don't want to talk about the Aberdeen game too much, but they didn't set the world on fire. How do you approach?
They need to keep playing together. It's simple as that. If you want a good run in December, you've got to need to keep them playing together as much as you can until the big games start coming.
They need minutes together. So
do you stick with the same formation, the 3-5-2?
I probably would. I'd just stick with pretty much the exact same team that played up at Aberdeen.
Stephen?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Yep, same.
Fair enough.
There's not any other players really coming back, is there? I mean, obviously Paul just talked there about being back in training and maybe being in the squad, which would add another.
Aye, and it said the way he was talking, it sounds like this is probably too soon for David Gray.
But I mean, Paul Hanlon could come back on in like the last 20 minutes, play him in centre midfield.
So score predictions then, and we're going to do something a bit different, and we're going to say what odds you'd get with FansBet if you were to do it. And this is at time of recording, so they are subject to change. I feel a professional saying that. So Dave, what's your score prediction for the game?
3-0, mate.
3-0. That will be 9-1. Stephen?
4-0.
4-0 would get you 16-1, and I'm going to go for 2-0, which is 25-4. So good odds. And like I say, they're subject to change, so they might change if you're a bit closer at the time. But there will also be enhanced odds on the Dundee game, so keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook and all that sort of stuff for them. So we're going to finish up with a chat about, like we said in the intro, the breaking news that Scottish football is going to be presented by Haley, Chris Sutton, Chris Commons, Andy Walker, rather than the BT team, who I know I'm meant to be the host and all that sort of stuff, but forget that. You know, I'm take care if I'm biased. I think the BT team's been great. You know that great moments like Chris Sutton was walking along and Stephen Craigan does a slide tackle on him and stuff, and they've been brilliant. Mikey Stewart's been great on it. Yeah,
The coverage is just far better. Like, they've got the Scottish football show that comes on for half an hour before their half an hour coverage for a game starts. So you've got an hour you're talking about Scottish football before the start of that game. Sky sometimes say 10-15 minutes, and they've got, it looks like Boyd and Commons sharing one stool. They're basically sitting in each other's knee. And their coverage is just dreadful. And then after you've looked at they two sharing a seat, you've got to go and listen to Andy Walker. They constantly muck up teams' names and badges, and they're just dreadful. They're just absolutely no care or attention in the world. They treat it like a pub league, and I don't care if they're offering more money. I don't think it should be anything to do with money. Obviously, it should play a part, but see if the difference is not dramatic, then I think BT Sport would have been healthier for their game going forward for the promotion it than Sky.
Stephen?
Aye. No, I completely agree with Dave, and I just think that even people in Dundee got confused as to what team they were supporting half the time. Last time it was a Sky, because the badges were wrong all the time. It's just a shambles. Like, they just didn't really care. It's all based around Old Firm for Sky, whereas BT brought a wee bit of life back to the Scottish Premier League. So disappointing.
I get people's arguments saying that BT could never really wanted it
if they didn't put their hands in their
pocket. But as you've just about to probably read out Michael Stewart's tweet.
Yeah, Mikey Stewart did tweet that not sure how wise it was to do a TV deal bidding process while one of the two main companies involved doesn't have a CEO. Because if you're getting a bidding war, then it's more money. Yeah. So why not wait until one of those two companies has got? It's so. I don't need to explain it to listeners. Everyone knows how basic that is.
Aye, everybody down south thinks we're a pub league because Sky treat us like a pub league. So not that I'm really that bored with that fantasy league down south says, but
it was just really nice for BT to be treating it with a lot of care and respect, and
people on it presenting that have a laugh, and it just more down to earth and more. They just made Scottish football good again to watch, like coverage wise.
Yeah.
So
right, a bit crap. But we're not going to end on a down note there.
Hopefully 18 months something happens. I don't know what.
Nah, that's it.
Deal done. But hopefully Sky get their finger out then and be like, right. Because the negative attention that Sky have had off the back of this.
Yeah.
They've got to have noticed, like,
they have to pay attention and start and go, okay, right, we'll put on a better product.
Because at the end of the day, I pay the same amount of money as a football fan down south, and they get.
Yeah, they need the subscriptions, and they've lost the Italian league a few years ago. They lost the Spanish league last year. Have they still got MLS?
Don't know.
I think they've still got MLS.
Sky. Yeah, they've got it.
But they lost something else. I'm sure they had. I think they've only really got the Dutch league MLS in England now. So they've obviously got Scotland exclusively now. So they should really make a big deal out of it and really package it something that means something and that they can sell to not just Scottish viewers but English viewers as well. And that'll be hard, but if you want to make money, then you need hard work.
Did you mention that they lost the Champions League?
I guess they've lost the Champions League years ago as well. Aye.
That's the thing though. It's like,
how long did BT get that for?
5 years, I think.
Because they've had it a while now.
They've only had that last 2 years, I'm sure.
Oh no, it's a lot longer than that.
Is it?
Aye. I don't know. We'll wait and see. We don't know. So, yeah, we'll finish up there. It's been a bumper pack episode, and here's to the next 50. So, yeah, thanks, Dave, for coming along.
No worries.
Stephen?
Cheers.
I missed I'm a Celebrity for this, but
Oh, for Christ.
I missed my dinner for this.
I mean,
what do you mean, why did I watch it?
it's nonsense.
No, Gav. Like, I'm a Celebrity is the only decent one that's the reality thing.
Plus, it's got Harry Redknapp in it this season.
Yep.
Can't ask for more than that.
I'm not even going to catch it in +1. It's too late.
Just wait until.
You know, got like
I catch up in that, but it's down the stair and like.
you got like an iPad or a laptop or.
I Gav a day, right? I just need to go out my way to get it right. I can't have it on a big tail. I need to watch it on a small tablet.
Watch it in your bed.
I'm right. Okay, Gav. Wrap it up.
I don't know. It's just. Can I just quickly ask you? Do you think that Deck should have done it, or do you think he should have stepped away for a year as well and got a
Philip Schofield.
Philip Schofield to do it with Holly Willoughby?
No, because they might lose their. They might maybe lose their show.
They probably would actually. To be fair,
What
I'd keep
What do you
Holly.
mean they'd
Willoughby.
lose their show?
Well, what if Ant and Deck just didn't come back to it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Deck's not done anything wrong, so
No.
I think Deck should still be there.
Okay, fair enough. Just a quick question. Just from somebody that actually watches it. It was something that was raised, and I didn't really. All I know is I've seen blippers of Holly and Phil on This Morning and stuff, and I don't watch This Morning because I'm at uni, but aye, that's pretty funny
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think they would replace Ant and Deck.
because it'd be that good.
Probably. Not worth the gamble for
Nah.
Deck.
Okay, so thanks for listening to this. I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here talk. We'll be back next week to see who's going into the Bush Tucker trial.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening, folks, and we'll be back next week.